Hello out there, and welcome back to everything you need to know about Mage Knight board game. We're still looking at the map, and so far we've explored the first 3 tiles. Now, I need to explain a very important rule in this game called reverting. And it's very important that you know that when you play your turn, you play whatever cards you want to. You decide if you want to use the ability on the card, or in this case, if you want to play move 2 and play this sideways for move 1, and then you can play this card to draw a card, and you can play this one to get a point of healing, and then this one you need to discard a card, but you don't have any cards left. Okay, you can stop and revert, which means you can say, I take back my entire move, except, by the way, for the part about drawing a card. Once you've drawn a card, you can't revert from that point on. But anything else, you could say, I actually need to discard a card in order to play improvisation, so I'm going to undo my move. And I'm going to do everything differently. In fact, instead of playing Mana Pull sideways, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to use the ability on the card. Whatever, but you can undo your turn and redo it completely different if you so choose. The only time you cannot revert is like I just did, after you've drawn a card, after you've explored a tile, after you have turned an enemy token face up, after committing to combat, and you see who it is, after you've rolled dice, basically after anything where you gain knowledge, where you get new information, you can't revert back to before that point. Okay? You can undo your entire turn as you're finishing it. You can undo everything. Even after you've completed combat, you can say, you know what, I know I won that combat, but I could have won it using less cards. So you can go back and undo everything and redo it completely differently if you so choose. That's reverting, and it's done so that you don't sit there forever, because you might have figured out already this game takes a little while to play. You don't sit there forever deciding if you really want to commit to do something or not. You can do it, and if you don't like it, you can undo the whole thing. Okay? So here we are at the 3rd tile, standing at the edge. The only rule about exploring is that the next tile you explore, the next countryside tile, has to either be adjacent to 2 tiles, or it has to be adjacent to a tile that's adjacent to 2 tiles. For example, I can explore forward this way, because even though this tile is only adjacent to one other tile, the tile it's adjacent to is adjacent to 2 tiles. And then I can explore another tile going this way, and when I do this, this is legal because now all 3 of these tiles are adjacent to each other, which means they're each adjacent to 2 other tiles. So here I would take an Orc Marauder like this. Now we have the desert, which requires 5 movement during the day and 3 movement at night. I have another village, and here I have my first Mage Tower. So what I'll do is put a Mage Tower token face down. During the daytime, if I'm adjacent to a Mage Tower, I flip it face up. In this case, I see I would fight monks. And if I decide to move onto the Mage Tower, notice I would provoke these orcs. I would have to fight this Mage Garrison, because I'm now assaulting the Mage Tower. My reputation goes down by 1, and if I did this movement and provoked these orcs, they would also join the fight. So I could use range and siege attack against them. I could only use siege attack against the monks, because notice they were inside the Mage Tower, so they're fortified. Then I would have to block the monks' attack, poisonous attack of 5, and I would have to block the Cursed Hag's attack, poisonous attack of 3. So I need to come up with 2 separate forms of block. I couldn't use the same cards and have one big block. I couldn't have, let's say, a block of 4 against the Cursed Hags and then say, well, I had block 4 and this was only 3, so I have 1 point of block left over. No. I'd have to do 2 separate blocks, and imagine these are 2 separate attacks. After I've blocked and assigned any damage, remember both of these guys put wounds in your discard pile as well as on your hero, or they'll wound your units twice. After I've assigned the damage, then I could do, if I wanted to, 1 big attack of 10 and knock them both out. If I'm not able to beat these guys, I can still be successful in defeating the monks, and in doing so, I could claim this mage tower. I don't have to beat this orc enemy that I provoked by moving there. Okay. However, they will do damage if I don't block their attack. And also remember that if both of these combine to hit me with enough wounds to match my hand total, that's considered a knockout. So I don't want to provoke these guys unless I'm sure I can handle them. Now I may do that intentionally because A, I'm going to get 1 reputation for beating these guys, and I just lost a reputation for assaulting the mage tower, and B, I can get 3 extra points of fame because they're worth an extra 3 fame. But just remember that anything you do that provokes an orc, they will join the fight even if you're already fighting somebody else. Okay? So keep that in mind. We have mountains here which you can't go through. If I'm successful in conquering this mage tower, this is now a neutral tower, which means all players can visit this space. When they do so, they can do one of 2 things. First of all, when you do it and you conquer this tower, now is when you'll take that top spell on the spell deck, flip the first card face up, and put it here, and the next card and the next card, so you have 3 spells for the spell offer. And then you can help yourself to a free spell. Take whatever spell you want. Keep in mind that your hero is going to want a specific color. So for example, Arithia wants a red spell, and if there isn't one, she'll take a white spell. From then on, anybody can visit a mage tower that's been conquered. They can either spend 7 influence and 1 basic color of mana that's the same as the spell they're taking to buy a spell. Or they can recruit any unit in the unit offer that can be recruited in a mage tower. In this case, the illusionist. They have that symbol that they can be recruited in a mage tower. Make sure that you have the site card for mage tower, which is on the back side of keep, and you have it right here so that you can refer to it if you need to. Okay? That's a mage tower, and that's what you need to know about that. Over here on this tile, we have another magic glade, we have a blue crystal mine, we have another orc space where we put an orc, and we have a monastery. So let's go and find the monastery card. And when we do, that's going to go over here in the site description so that we know what to do when we attack a monastery, or visit a monastery, I'm sorry. When you visit a monastery, the first thing you're going to do is go to the advanced actions deck. You're going to flip a card face up, and you're going to add it to the unit offer. Now this is an advanced action that can be learned by visiting the monastery. So if you were to visit this monastery here, you would pay 6 influence and take this advanced action and put it on top of your deck. You could not do that with any advanced action in the advanced actions offer, only an advanced action in the unit offer. Okay? At the end of the round, whatever units are left in the unit offer are going to be taken and put on the bottom of the deck. If there's an advanced action left over, it's going to be taken and put on the bottom of the advanced action deck. And at the beginning of the next round, we're going to look and see which monasteries we have remaining on the board. And for every monastery that's there, we're going to draw a new advanced action and put it face up in the unit offer. Okay? We don't replenish the advanced actions in the unit offer, and we don't replenish the units in the unit offer until the end of the round. Unlike the advanced action offer or the spell offer, which will replenish as soon as we take one of them. We'll just pull the remaining cards down and then flip one face up and put it on top. Okay? In addition to that, you can buy points of healing in a monastery. Unlike a village, which costs 3 points of influence for 1 point of healing, in a monastery you only pay 2 points of influence for a point of healing. Now if it sounds like a lot of information for the keeps, mage towers, monasteries, that's what the site description cards are for. You can refer to these and you'll be cleared up about that. The last thing you can do in a monastery is burn it down. If you decide to burn down a monastery, you're going to draw a random violet token. That's the mage tower garrison. You're going to fight that enemy. Okay? Let's say you go here and you fight the monks. That would be appropriate. You'd fight monks when you try to burn down a monastery. You're immediately going to go to the reputation track and lower your reputation by 3. If you have any units in your unit area, they are not going to help you because they are morally opposed to what you're doing. So you're on your own. You can only use your cards and your skills. You cannot use your units. You fight the enemy, and if you're successful, you take a shield token and place it here. That way we know that you're the one that did it, and you'll get credit for it at the end of the turn, at the end of the game. At the start of the next round, we are not going to place a new advanced action for this monastery because it's considered to be gone. It's an empty space, it's burned down. However, we'll leave this one here in the unit offer, and if there's another monastery that's discovered later in the round, we'll add an advanced action, and people can learn this one or the new one there. That knowledge can still be acquired elsewhere. The other thing that happens is you're going to draw 2 artifact cards. You're going to choose one, put it on top of your deed deck, and put the other one on the bottom. You get an artifact as a reward for burning down a monastery. That's a lot of information so far, and we are just into 5 of the 11 countryside tiles. So that seems like a good place to stop. But again, now you can see what happens as we are starting to explore the map. You have a lot of different features, you can go to a lot of different places, and even if you have a multiplayer game, there's still a lot for everybody to do. We've already got some spaces where we've done some conquering and some exploring, and one other thing I should mention, in the first reconnaissance, this training mission, every time you explore a new tile, you get 1 point of fame. So in the next video, we're going to talk about what happens when you get enough fame that you level up, and we'll further explore this map and learn everything there is to need to know about Mage Knight board game. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please come back for the next episode. Until next time, GLHF. Good luck, have fun.